Tiger fans, our final list changes are in for the end of 2025. There's been 2 changes made today where we've had to finalise some list spots ahead of the national draft. So we're going to step through that, and we're going to step through what spots we have left available, what that all looks like. But make sure before we get stuck into it, hit that like and subscribe button. We've gone over 4,000 subs. We're on the way to 4,100, and we appreciate all the love and support. But getting back to the video, today it was announced that Tyler Sonsie has been offered a contract for 2026 and Thomson Dow will not be offered a contract for 2026. It's always a really difficult and tricky time of the year, and I've felt bad for these 2 players in particular being sort of stuck in limbo for this long, not knowing how it was going to play. I mean, I'm sure they probably had a fairer idea behind the scenes than what was publicly led on, which makes sense. But for Thomson Dow, really unlucky and unfortunate. I thought he really started to show some good signs this year. Playing as that, 3rd or 4th string midfielder, there was a good stretch of games in the middle where he was actually playing the role really well, extracting the ball out to his teammates, and you could sort of see his confidence growing and getting better. He was taking the game on more. He was actually using his pace. Like in a season where we've cried out for pace, he actually did have a bit of explosiveness around stoppages compared to some of the other players we've got in there. And he was just trying to obviously get that running goal inside 50. I remember him trying multiple times and just spraying it. But I thought he was showing more than enough this year. And I still stand by that he was very harshly judged last year, given he was asked to play a role that wasn't his area of expertise, being a number 1 midfielder. But look, hopefully Thomson Dow finds another home on another list. I think he still does have a little bit to offer in the right situation. And more importantly, hopefully his recovery from the knee injury is going well. Based on the injury report updates we were getting late in the season, it did sound like or read like that it wasn't recovering as well as he and the club would have hoped. And look, hopefully that hasn't been too much of a catalyst for this, and hopefully he does recover okay, and that he's back on his feet and out there doing what he wants to do shortly. But we thank Thomson Dow for his time, energy, and his efforts at the Richmond Footy Club, and we wish him all the best. Then Tyler Sonsie, he gets offered the 1-year contract for 2026. I'm really happy with this decision. I know there's a lot of divided opinions on Tyler Sonsie. I really do think that this year he took a good step forward. He had some really consistent football through the middle stages of the year. He played his most AFL games in a season. I think he's up to 40-odd games now. So you're starting to get closer to that 40 to 50 game mark. I know you want to get to about 75, but where you start to really get a better idea of what these kids are going to be like as a player. And I think it's fair to suggest that Sonsie, for all of his other flaws in terms of the contested stuff and maybe the going in for the ball and things like that, from a skill perspective, I've always felt he's been one of our more skillful players. Dual-sided, which is very handy and not often seen at a high level, which is quite bizarre. Hits up some really good targets. Does have a good footy IQ, I feel. Gets himself into space a lot and can help then with counter-attacks, which we saw a few times when we were playing some good attacking football. Obviously, the big improvements we need from Tyler is going harder into the contest. And it's not so much, we're not expecting him to brutalise the opposition's biggest midfielder or their halfbacks and half forwards, but it's more about if there's a 50-50 ball to be won, if it's your turn to go, you go. That's just got to be the Richmond mantra, the Richmond way. It's sort of almost a non-negotiable at AFL level because you get found out pretty quickly otherwise. So for Sonsie, it's just about making sure that he's cracking into the contest, believing in himself, believing in his own physicality and ability and his body, I guess. And the rest will take care of itself. Offensively, he will be fine. And I guess the exciting thing for him was there was about a stretch of 5 or 6 games towards the end where he was starting to do that more. He was cracking into one-on-ones. He was running back with the flight of the ball. I saw him win a 2-on-1 against Collingwood, I think it might have been. So he can do it. It's just unlocking it to do it consistently. And maybe this being in limbo piece is the kick up the bum he might have needed. Like, I'm sure we all remember back to his post-game interview after a VFL game, and you can tell the kid bleeds yellow and black. And he seemed pretty deflated by the prospect that he may not be on the list anymore. So hopefully this turns things around fully, because I honestly think, and I might be in the minority, but I don't care, I'm going with it. I really do think he still has a lot to offer at AFL level, especially with his skill set. we always cry out for players who can hit targets. He can do that. He just needs to piece the rest of it together. But it's on him now. He's got the contract. He's got to put his best foot forward and do all the hard work and make sure he cements himself in the side by doing all those team things well. It has been good to hear that he's been back doing some training with the younger guys already. And yeah, I really do hope that he puts it all together and pretty much carries on his VFL form into the AFL consistently. So all the best to Tyler in that space. I guess the second part of this equation is now, what does that mean for the list size, the list numbers, and all that kind of stuff? So to give a quick breakdown, the maximum list size you can have is a list size of 44, which can be made up of primary list players. You can have between 36 and 38 of those. You can have 6 rookies and you can have 2 Category B rookies, just depending on the blend of that to equal 44 at most. So currently, as it stands right now after today's changes, we have 34 primary listed players, which means we have 2 to 4 spots left we can fill there. We have 3 rookies currently, so we could add 3 more. And we've got 1 Category B rookie, so we could add another 1. Now, the primary list spots, they can be taken up by the draftees. So this sort of suggests to me that we do intend on taking our 3 national draft picks, with being 3, 4, and 38, which would become 32, 33. And we'd still have a primary list spot left to take Louis Callaway, and we may not need a draft pick to do it. We may be able to get him for free if it gets past that pick 50 mark. Otherwise, if a bid comes after 33 or 34, whenever that pick is, we can always trade in from a future to acquire a pick from this year to get Louis. And I really hope we do. If that bid does come, I really hope we still do what we can to get Louis on board. So even if we take 3 draftees and Louis Callaway, so 4 players in total in this upcoming draft, that would take the primary list up to 38, which is its maximum size, plus the 3 rookies, plus the 1 Category B player, which would give us 42 listed players in total out of a possible 44. So we'd still have room for 2. Now, I don't know whether Callaway could end up on a rookie list, so maybe we have another primary spot available but increase the rookie size, still have a net result of 42. I don't know if it matters which way that goes, but the end result either way would be we have spots for 2 players. Now, I guess that's where those SP programs come into play, where you can sign a player on and they can train with you and try and prove themselves to get a spot, like we did with Sydney Stack. And I've said this before, but that's where I see the value in offering that kind of thing to a player like Elijah Hollins. If Carlton weren't offering it to him, I'm not sure what their status is, but you don't lose anything from that. And then if they train the house down and prove themselves, you sign them on as a rookie, and that would then take us up to 43. Or we can do it twice. There's 2 spots. And I guess the other thing that we have room for as well now is we actually have room for a mid-season draftee, which we didn't have last year. Because I remember there was obviously a lot of speculation about Prestia maybe retiring mid-season last year to free up a spot, which obviously didn't happen. He ended up playing really well in the back half of the year. But as it stands right now, we would have 2 spots left if they go on a rookie signing for the mid-season draft. I'm just not sure if a mid-season draftee has to automatically go on the primary list or if they do go on the rookie list. I can't remember what that ruling is. If someone knows in the comments, let me know. But we do have room for 2 players. So plenty of different ways we can make it work, which is good. And it means we can take the draftees we want at this year's draft too. But let us know what you think in the comments below. I suppose your thoughts on Sonsie staying and Dow going. Don't be nasty, all right? I mean, I know people are divided on their abilities, but just be nice about it, please. I don't like seeing too much negative stuff. And let us know as well how you think we're going to utilise the rest of our list spots. Are we taking the 3 draftees plus Callaway being 4? Are there any other rookies you want to see us try and take or have sign on as an SPP player? Does Harry Scott somehow get a look in off the VFL program? El Nor, another one who maybe gets a look in at some point in time. We've got some options, and that's a good thing. But let us know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Richmond content, and we'll see you for the next one. Go Tigers.